Hello, and welcome to the Sugar Beet Harvest. On behalf of American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals, we thank you for participating this year. This safety and orientation video is a very important part of participating in the beet harvest. We need your undivided attention, and if you're not paying attention, sleeping, or talking during this video, you will be asked to leave and you will not be eligible to work. Many of the topics today have to do with on-job behavior. We expect you to respect authority and conduct yourself in a safe and professional manner at all times. This means that your actions and performance will be monitored. Not following safety instructions, improper behavior, unprofessional conversations, and foul language will not be tolerated. Please treat your coworkers as you'd like to be treated. If you do not follow these rules, you will be terminated and asked to leave. This will affect your season-ending bonus and may affect future opportunities with American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment. We have a zero-tolerance policy at American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment when it comes to drugs and alcohol. If we suspect that you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, you will be tested, and pending those results, you could be terminated. If you are chosen for a position, you'll be notified by Express Employment Professionals Harvest Supervisors. At that time, you will learn which station you are assigned to and which shift you will be working, which will list our toll-free numbers as well as our harvest hotline for each station. Please find your station and the associated hotline number. You will be expected to check the hotline prior to each shift for any shift-related news, including weather-related stops and starts. The toll-free number for Express Employment is the number you would call to alert us if you will be late or unable to work and is different from your harvest hotline. If you don't call, your absence will be considered unexcused. Unexcused absences can affect your season-ending bonus and, even worse, can affect our ability to put you back to work. Please write down both numbers and keep them handy.
Working the harvest is difficult and can be long hours. If you want to get paid and paid correctly for all of your hard work, it is important that you pay close attention to your time. The electronic time clock system requires that you punch in and out daily. The system will automatically load your punches into the program. You will be issued a numerical code via text or email upon being entered into the time clock terminal. You will be able to clock in and out at the time shack. There are two methods of punching in. First method is using your code and punching it onto the keypad. Second method is opening the time terminal app on your phone, opening your QR code, and scanning it in with the camera. Please be prepared, as there will be a photo taken for each punch. If you need to retrieve your code or are experiencing issues with punching or viewing your time, please call Express. It is very important that you are the only one who punches in and out. Punching in and out for anyone else other than yourself is not acceptable. Anyone found to be violating these requirements will be terminated and possibly prosecuted for time card fraud. The first 8 hours of your shift, Monday through Friday, will be paid at regular time. The last 4 hours will be paid at a time and a half. On Saturday, you will be paid all day at a time and a half, and Sunday you will get double the original pay rate.
In the months of August and September, we start pre-pile harvest. During this time period, you will be paid regular time for your first 8 hours, and if your shift extends beyond 8 hours, you will be paid a time and a half. There is no premium pay on the weekends unless you have worked 40 regular time hours prior to the weekend. Pre-pile schedule can vary, and sometimes you only work a few days at a time. You may not work full 12-hour shifts. It is also common during pre-pile for the day shift and night shift to split time. During pre-pile, there is no premium pay on the weekends unless you have worked 40 regular time hours prior to the weekend. Each day you work during the pre-pile, you will typically receive regular time pay for the first 8 hours and time and a half for any hours over 8. Beginning on or near October 1st, we begin main harvest. When you work Monday through Friday, you are paid your first 8 hours at regular time, and the last 4 hours of your shift is paid at a time and a half. You then receive premium pay for your Saturdays during main harvest, which are paid at a time and a half for your entire shift. You also receive premium pay on Sundays during main harvest, which is paid double time for your entire shift. There is one extremely important requirement to receive premium pay during main harvest, and it is you are required to work all of your assigned shifts Monday through Friday prior to a premium pay weekend. We sometimes experience work shutdowns due to cold, heat, or rain. This type of shutdown does not affect your premium pay as long as you have worked all of your assigned shifts prior to the shutdown and after the startup. In the event of a weather-related shutdown after October 1st, you will be issued 4 hours of stay pay at regular time for that day. If the shutdown occurs on a weekend, you will be issued 4 hours of stay pay at the overtime rate. In order to be eligible for stay pay and premium pay, it's vitally important that you are back to work at your next assigned shift to when we experience the weather-related shutdowns. As long as you show up when you're supposed to, you'll get it. Each pay period begins 8 a.m. Monday and ends at 7:59 a.m. the next Monday. You'll be paid every 2 weeks according to the schedule posted in your time shack or scale house. If you have any questions regarding pay, please call Express Employment Professionals at the toll-free number that can be found in the time shack in your Harvest Handbook on your orientation card. The focus of this presentation is to get you familiar with the general operations of a typical beat piler or receiving station where you will be working. Since each piler is a little bit different, you will receive more specific instruction from your supervisor. As a member of the ground crew, it is valuable to understand the chain of command at the piling site. You may be given instruction by the piler operator. The piler operator works under the direction of the safety coordinator. Above the safety coordinator is the foreman who answers to the agriculturists. All of these workers are under authority of the ag operations manager for the district. As a member of the ground crew, you may receive instruction or support from any of those authorities over you. Your safety and safety of your coworkers is utmost importance. It is critical that you come to work well rested and alert. Being mindful of your surroundings is the most important aspect of injury prevention. If you ever see something that you don't understand or think that is unsafe, report it to your supervisor immediately. If you are uncomfortable reporting to your supervisor, please call Express at the toll-free number posted in the scale house or the time shack. At every piling site, you'll be working around the piler, large trucks, front-end loaders, skid steers, and other powerful and potential dangerous equipment. Since injuries can and do occur, it is important that you are alert and aware of what's going on around you at all times. If you are ever unsure how to perform a particular job, always ask your foreman before proceeding. Remember, at American Crystal Sugar, no job is so important that a person cannot take time to do it safely. Report all accidents and injuries to your supervisor and Express immediately. Small injuries can become major ones if they are not reported promptly. Your first line of defense on the job site is proper clothing and personal protection equipment. Since you may be exposed to wind, sun, rain, and possibly even snow when working the pilers, it is important for you to dress appropriately for any of these working conditions. Essential work items include warm layered clothing, a rain jacket, and a good set of working gloves. It is very important to have a good pair of working shoes, preferably boots that cover the ankle. If you cannot wear this type of boot, you must at the very least wear a good pair of leather tennis shoes. Mesh and cloth shoes, as well as sandals and open-toed shoes, don't offer adequate protection and may not be worn at the job site. Jewelry and loose clothing that could get caught in machinery should be removed, and long hair should be tied back and covered with your hard hat.
The hard hat, safety vest, safety glasses, gloves, and hearing protection are required and will be provided by American Crystal Sugar.
If you show up to work wearing shoes or clothing that are deemed unsafe by your supervisor, you will be asked to return home to change. You may or may not be permitted to return to work that day. At times, the piling site can become very windy and dusty, and you may want to wear a dust mask or respirator to protect your lungs from the dust. Respirators are available from your supervisor. It is important to apply the respirator properly in order for it to work effectively. To properly apply this respirator, cup the respirator in your hands with the straps hanging below. Pull the lower straps over first, and then the upper strap. Be sure to form the top of the mask to your nose and breathe in and out and check for air leaks. If you feel air escaping from one side of the mask, readjust for a proper fit. Since the working environment next to the piler is noisy, American Crystal Sugar provides disposable hearing protection that you can get from the scale house each day that you work. To properly use them, roll each ear plug to compress it and then pull on your ear with one hand while inserting the ear protector into your ear with the other hand. Skid steers, also known as bobcats, are in almost constant use on and around the pilers. Skid steer operators must thoroughly be trained in order to operate this equipment. If you have not been properly trained on skid steers, do not attempt to use them. All operators must wear safety belts as well as hard hats, safety glasses, and safety vests while operating the skid steers. You must be aware of the skid steers that are at work in your area at all times. Awareness of your surroundings is vital importance to your safety on the job site and your responsibility. The piler is the machine that is used to pile the sugar beets for storage during harvest. The work done by the piler crew is critical to ensure successful, accurate, and safe piling of the sugar beets. The piling operations begin when the truck carrying the beets enter the yard. Each grower is paid by the number of tons of beets he delivers and by the sugar content of the beets from his field. But the beets from all growers are mixed together during the piling. So how can a farmer be sure that they're getting paid properly? Each grower is assigned a number for every sugar beet field that he harvests. The grower then receives a truck card with that number and the grower's name for each location. When the truck arrives at the piling site, they first stop at the weigh-in station or the scale house. The driver hands the truck card to the weighmaster, who scans the card into American Crystal Sugar computer system. During the weigh-in procedure, the computer will require a sample to be taken from a portion of the beet brought in from each field. The computer will print an in-weight receipt with the grower's field number and the words sample or no sample. If the computer requires a sample to be taken, the weighmaster will issue a white sample ticket to be given to the driver along with the truck card and the weigh-in receipt. When the driver arrives at the piler, the in-weight receipt and sample ticket are given to one of the piler workers. When the driver arrives at the piler, the in-weight receipt and sample ticket are given to one of the piler workers. The piler worker writes the pile number on the in-weight receipt and returns it to the truck driver. The sample ticket is then given to the sample taker. Please be sure to write the correct pile number on the receipt. You will likely work at different pilers on different days, so be sure you always know the pile number you're working on at any particular time. You should also know that when you're piling over culverts, the pile number will change to indicate to the factory if the beets were piled directly over the culverts in a situation called deep freeze. For example, on piler 9, the pile number would change to 90 over the culverts and then back to 9 when coming off the culverts. Your supervisor will alert you to any number changes. If the load is to be sampled, the sample ticket is placed inside the sample bag pouch with the barcode visible in the window. The sample bag is then placed on the sample chute and the sample taker waits for the signal light or for the truck to raise its box for a second time before taking the sample. It is important to take the sample from the middle of the load. Watching the truck as it unloads will help you get a more accurate middle sample. When the sample button is pushed, the sample bucket acquires a sample from the stream of beets and then dumps them into a sample chute and then into the sample bag. The sample bags must be securely fastened and set aside. After the truck has completely unloaded, the truck driver is directed by a member of the ground crew to move into position to receive their tear dirt. That's the dirt that fell off of the beets while moving up the piler. When directing the driver to receive his tear dirt, use a large exaggerated hand and arm signal to help the driver move into position without hitting the piler. Don't expect the driver to be able to see finger movements. Always use a large movement signal for the driver. Occasionally, you may have to work on a high area of the piler, requiring you to wear a safety harness, which is available from your supervisor. All work done 6 feet or more off the ground requires you to wear a safety harness that is properly sized to your body. Before putting on the harness, check it carefully for any tears, rips, burns, or frayed areas. If it has any of these defects, request another harness. Attach the lanyard to the D-ring of the harness and make sure that you connect the other end to the piler. This is called tying off. You must connect the lanyard to an appropriate tie-off point on the piler in order to be safe in the event of a fall. Throughout the day, a truck will come by to pick up some sample bags and deliver them to the quality lab. Here, the sample beets are dumped into the washer and the sample ticket is scanned into the lab's entry system. The sample beets are first weighed, then washed and weighed again. Weighing the beets both before and after the wash allows the lab to calculate how much dirt was included in each load. Next, the washed beets are chopped and run through the NIRS sensor. The pulp is carefully analyzed to determine the sugar content and other important information about the sample of the beet. Proper analysis of the beet at the lab begins with an accurate sample at the piler. More important than taking an accurate sample is your safety. As the truck climbs the ramp on the piler, the ground crew needs to stay clear of the truck. Always anticipate the worst case scenario. The truck's brakes could fail or the truck's tires could slip, causing the driver to lose control. Once the truck is in position and the box is being raised, you must still remain clear of the truck. On very rare occasions, and for a number of reasons, trucks have tipped over while their boxes are being raised. If this happens while you are working, you'll want to watch it from a safe distance. Part of being safe at the piler is maintaining a safe and clean environment. Over time, mud and beets will collect on the ground where you work and pose for a serious slip and trip hazard. Most injuries at the piling station are a result from tipping or tripping. To minimize this hazard, keep the area around the piler clean at all times. Remove dirt, mud, and debris whenever possible, especially under and around the sample chute and the tear dirt drop-off. There are 3 areas that you should never clean when the piler is running. They are under the piler or operator cabin where the piler operator cannot see you, the front of the end dump, and the area around the tail shaft. During piling, all of these are hazardous areas that you must not clean. When the piler needs to be temporarily shut down for maintenance, cleaning, repair, or just to check on something that would require being close to the moving parts of the machine, the piler must be locked out. The lockout procedure has saved lives and prevented critical injuries by ensuring the safe position of each worker when the machine is turned back on. Every worker is given a lock when they begin their work. During lockout, the machine is shut down at the electrical panel and the scissor lock is put on the power switch. The operator is the first one to put on his lock on the scissor, and then every worker on the piler adds his or her own lock to the scissor. In this way, the piler cannot be operated or even turned on until every worker has removed his or her lock and is in a safe position. To confirm that the power to the piler is shut off, push the dirt return button. If the dirt return does not operate, the piler is safe to clean or repair. The first person to put a padlock on the scissor lock is the last person to remove his lock. Once you've removed your lock, move to a safe distance away from the piler so that the piler operator can restart it. To begin piling again, the piler operator will go back to the piler cabin and blow a long blast on the horn to alert you that the machine is about to be turned back on. The operator will step out of the cabin and look on both sides of the piler to ensure all workers are at a safe distance from the machine. He or she will then go back into the cabin and blow 3 short blasts on the horn before turning the piler on again. If the machine is operating smoothly, piling can begin again. Remember, proper lockout procedures are a matter of life and death. If there's anything that you don't understand about the lockout procedure, be sure to ask your supervisor. Occasionally, piler operators or repair crews will put on red barricade tape across a work area. This tape indicates a dangerous condition and you must not enter the area until the tape has been removed by the workers who put it there. If you see this kind of tape in use, do not enter the area unless you're part of the crew doing the repair or have been asked to enter the area by the crew. If you see this kind of tape in use, do not enter the area unless you're part of the working crew doing the repair or have been asked by the crew to enter the area. American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals does not tolerate any behavior that could be perceived as discrimination or harassment by anyone. There will be no retaliation for reporting discrimination or harassment or for cooperating with the investigation of a complaint. All workers are expected to avoid behavior that could be interpreted as harassment and report inappropriate behavior to their supervisor immediately. American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals have a no-tolerance policy regarding sexual harassment. Sexual harassment can encompass a wide range of unwanted direct or indirect sexual behavior such as sexual advances, requests for sex, unwelcome physical touching, or interference with normal work or movement. Sexual harassment can occur in the form of a hostile work environment based on such things as sexually implicit or derogatory photographs, posters, cartoons, or sexually explicit language, gestures, jokes, or stories. Discrimination or harassment due to any of the other characteristics listed in the Equal Opportunity Policy can be based on similar physical, visual, or verbal conduct. Sexual and all other types of discrimination and harassment are strictly prohibited. Workers who perceive they have been subjected to discrimination or harassment may ask the person to stop, and if it continues, should report it immediately to their supervisor. If they do not feel comfortable reporting to their immediate supervisor, call Express Employment at 888-791-6738 and ask for the general manager. American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals investigates all reports and complaints of discrimination and harassment, keeping all information as confidential as possible within the necessary boundaries of the fact-finding process. Involved workers should keep the complaint confidential since general discussion of such matter can become disruptive to the workplace. Any worker found to have engaged in prohibited discrimination or harassment will be subject to disciplinary action, including termination. Workers may be personally liable for monetary damages, which American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals will not pay. If a worker has been discriminated against or harassed on the job, American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals will work together to remedy the situation. We do not expect any worker to work in an uncomfortable environment. Remember, at American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment Professionals, sexual harassment will not be tolerated. In addition, any inappropriate verbal or physical conduct from one employee against another that results in fear, intimidation, or a hostile work environment will not be tolerated. Stay professional and show respect to other employees at all times. Today, an increasing number of people are carriers of diseases that can be transmitted to you through their blood or other body fluids. Therefore, it is necessary to take special precaution if you ever come in contact with these fluids. These diseases include B and C hepatitis, HIV, AIDS, and others. All these viruses can live for some time outside of the body, so take proper precaution if you come across blood or other body fluids on a counter or in a bathroom. Do not handle or try to clean up bodily fluids unless you have been specifically trained to do so. If you do get fluids on your skin, wash the area as soon as possible with soapy water using friction. Even if you wear latex gloves, it is important to wash thoroughly, since gloves do not provide 100% protection against these diseases. If you are aware of spilled bodily fluids in a work area, you should avoid the spill and barricade the area with red tape until the spill has been cleaned and disinfected by trained personnel. All gloves, used medical supplies, and clean-up materials must be disposed of in special red biohazard bags, never in the general trash. These red bags are available at the first aid station. If you have been exposed to someone else's blood or body fluids without protection, you must report the incident since this is a work-related incident that requires a follow-up. If you're not sure if you had a real exposure, ask the occupational health nurse to help you. Workers' compensation statutes outline the followed-up medical services and counseling that should receive after an exposure to blood-borne pathogens. These services are covered by workers' compensation. All work-reported incidents are reported by the first responder, so be prepared to answer a few questions. You have the right to know about chemical hazards in the workplace. Your worksite supervisor should provide information about chemicals if necessary. Slips, trips, and falls are the major sources of injuries at the pilers. If you do get hurt, you must report the injury to the foreman immediately and go to the scale house or time shack to file an incident report, including calling in your incident. You must complete or have someone help you complete a lab injury report. There are also first aid kits in the scale house for you to use if you need them. If you're badly injured, the scale house will call 911 for an ambulance and the foreman will stay with you until the ambulance arrives. While waiting for the ambulance or while being treated, if you are able, you should talk with express employment professionals to complete the workers' compensation forms, which you will find at the scale house or time shack. All True Systems in Sanford are the preferred providers in the area. After being treated, you must notify express employment professionals, work comp personnel, and your supervisor to let them know whether you'll be coming back or not. Remember, the number to call for emergencies is 911. Several years ago, when a piler worker approached a truck, they were bitten and severely injured by a trucker's dog. All pets are now required to be restrained within the cab of the truck at all times, either by a collar and leash or a pet kennel. If you ever see a pet running loose, please report it to your supervisor immediately. Shoveling one sugar beet the wrong way one time probably won't hurt you, but shoveling the wrong way all day will leave your back hurting or worse. When you shovel, your knees and legs do the lifting, not your back. Avoid bending and twisting. Step and turn rather than twisting at the waist. These practices will help you to work safer and more comfortably. There is at least one fire extinguisher at every piler in the operator's cabin. To use the fire extinguisher, pull the pin, aim the nozzle at the base of the flame, squeeze the trigger, and sweep back and forth. The power cord conducts 480 volts of electricity from the main power line to the piler. Whenever you have to move the power cord, always look to make sure that the protective outer casing is not cut or damaged. If it is, do not touch these parts of the cord and report the situation to your supervisor. Never allow the power cord to cross itself. If this happens and a truck runs over it, it can shut down the piler and damage the system. The panel also contains 480 volts of electricity and is accessible by authorized personnel only. If you need to shut down the piler in an emergency, there are at least 3 emergency stop switches located on each piler. One is in the piler operator's cabin, one is on the main control panel by the sample chute, and there is one on the opposite side of the piler. If you see something that's unsafe, hitting any of these buttons will immediately shut down the piler. Once the problem has been corrected and everyone is standing at a safe distance, the piler is re-energized by pulling out the same emergency stop button. The piler cannot be turned on again until the button is pulled out. The sugar beet harvest and beet piling season is an exciting, labor-intensive, and profitable time in the Red River Valley. American Crystal Sugar and Express Employment professionals are glad you have chosen to be part of their team and will work hard to get the job done safely and effectively. You will receive your orientation pay on a separate check after harvest is complete. As you will see in your paperwork, if you complete harvest at your assigned station and meet all bonus guidelines, you will be eligible for a season-ending bonus. It's very important that you follow all of the work rules to be eligible for this bonus. If you are eligible for this bonus, it will be paid to you by December 31st and will be based upon your main harvest gross wages. It's a 5% bonus for new hires and a 10% bonus for rehires. You also have the opportunity to refer friends and get paid to do so. Referral fees are $100 if your friend completes harvest. All referrals will be paid by December 31st. If you have any questions regarding anything you've heard today, please contact us at our toll-free number at 888-791-6738. It is very important that you contact that phone number for any questions or comments regarding our beet harvest. Please do not call your harvest supervisors on their cell phones. We want to document the call and find the best way to service you. When your station has completed harvest, please call us at 888-791-6738 and let us know if you are available for more work. There is a possibility that other stations are still running and need help. There may also be other non-harvest work opportunities with Express Employment Professionals. It is very important that you call the Grand Forks office to let us know of your completion. Telling your harvest supervisor, foreman, or egg staff does not meet the notification requirement. If you are not looking for additional work, it is still important to call and let us know. Again, the number is 888-791-6738. We appreciate you all taking the time to listen and watch this video. Your safety is our #1 priority. We want to wish you all a safe and successful harvest. Thank you.